All right, Your Excellency, I will be making Your Excellency Victoria Okedari, you will be the host. I'll make you the host for the meeting. I'll make you the co-host. So you are able to manage. Your Excellency Victoria, don't be nervous. You've done this over and over again. You'll be fine. You're just going to be the co-host, and if we need to help you, we will help you. Don't worry. All right. Well, Your Excellency, please remember to unmute individuals, and you guys have a fantastic class. I will be watching from behind the scenes. Olukoya, Godspeed, Olukoya. I will be making Your Excellency Victoria Okedari. All right. Your Excellency Victoria, you're good to go. Godspeed.
Amen. Good evening. Good evening, everybody in the class of SteelE. Today is the 14th of May, 2021. I want to say a very huge good evening to our mentor, His Excellency, Dr. Bishop Michael SteelE, and our amiable First Lady, Jenny, and all the excellencies in the house, and every member who is in our meeting today. You are all welcome to this great occasion. Without wasting much time, I want to call on His Excellency, His Excellency, Reverend Bright also, to greet us tonight. Thank you, Reverend Awesome. Over to you. Can you please unmute yourself?
Okay. Good evening, class of members of class of SteelE. Good evening, Your Excellency, Right Reverend Dr. Michael SteelE. Good evening, Her Excellency Victoria Okedari. And good evening, all excellencies in the house. I want to passionately greet all of us and appreciate us for coming tonight. I know that the Lord has something bigger and better for us tonight. And I am here to welcome you to this amiable class, this wonderful class, this great minds, the class for great minds, a class for people with like minds. Thank you for coming, and I want you to stay put. Enjoy yourself. The Lord is going to speak to you. The Lord is going to instruct us. The Lord is going to correct us. And I want us to stay put because something good and something great is about to happen. Something great will happen tonight. And so enjoy yourself. Just enjoy the ride. We are about to take off. God bless you and welcome. Stay put and be attentive. God bless you.
Amen. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, Reverend Samuel Odson. Without wasting much time, are you hearing me? Without wasting much time, today is loaded And we have the privilege of having one of us who is going to talk to us tonight, His Excellency, Architect Olusegun Olukoya. The ball is in your courts. Thank you. Go ahead. Please unmute yourself.
Good evening, everyone in the house, the management team, our mentor, Bishop Dr. Michael SteelE, and his amiable wife, Jeannie, and son, Josh. I want to appreciate Dr. Anita Defoe for giving me this privilege to take the class tonight, and also to appreciate our mentor, Bishop Dr. SteelE, for graciously giving his approval. I want to believe that as we share this evening, every one of us will be imparted and will be blessed. The topic before us this evening is operating at the level of your understanding. Operating at the level of your understanding. Now, there are some keywords here that we'll need to quickly look at. Operate, level, your understanding. When you talk of operating, it can be likened to the operations like a machine. And when you take a look at a machine operating can either operate at optimum capacity or operate below capacity. I cite a very simple example of an experience a classmate of mine shared when we were in our early years in the university. There's this program that they record, and it coincides with the time of going to service. So what she does is that the whole family will go to church. She will stay back and record from 4:30 to 5:30. Then she will rush to church. Every service day, she is always late by almost an hour. Until one day she stumbled on the manual of the television and now discovered that you can program the television to record at a particular time, and then after recording can shut down itself. So she won't need to wait. But this recording has been going on for months. Now, that machine which happened to be the television has been operating, but it has been operating below capacity. And that is related to even the lives of every one of us. Many of us are actually operating, but at what level are we operating? Are we operating at maximum, optimum, or below capacity? And it is not an excuse if there is failure in any way. Now, what she has suffered over time, missing church service, being to church very late, is not the fault of the television, it's the fault of the person concerned. So when we are talking of operating, the question that arises is, how do you function? How are you functioning? How are you working? What are you doing? In the course of this talk, we'll be able to shed more light on that. The next point there is level. When we talk of level, we are talking of position. Where are you? At what position are you operating from? At what standpoint are you operating from? Are you operating from the best position, or you are operating from a vantage position or disadvantaged position? That is very important for us to consider in our thoughts, even as we go on in this talk. Now, when we talk of your, we're now talking about you and I. So this has to do with responsibility. We're not talking about another person. We're talking about you and I. How much responsibility are we taking in our operations? It's very easy to pass the buck and let somebody do the work and do some other things that we are supposed to do. And then when there is failure or problem at any point, we shift blame. What we are looking at today is operating at your level, the level of your understanding. So it has a lot to do with you and I. So as we are talking, let's be looking at ourselves and not look at others. Then understanding. Understanding has to do with comprehension. When I check the dictionary, understanding has to do with comprehension, has to do with grasp. From all that comes to you, what are you able to take home from it? What are you able to grasp from it? It also talks of grip, ability to have a grip on anything. Understanding can also mean mastery, to be a master, to be an expert. And of course, understanding has to do with perception. How do you perceive what is before us and what is before you and I? So the question to us this evening is, operating at the level of your understanding, is it an end in itself, or is it a means to an end? Because it's very easy for us to look at operating at our level and just decide that this level that I'm operating is the best that there is. And the danger in that, of course, you will agree with me, is that there is no room for growth. So the question is operating at the level of your understanding an end, or is it a means to an end? Is it a final bus stop where you begin to, you say, this is it, this is it, this is where I will be working, this is where I'll be operating? Or you will now say, I can start from this point and then gravitate towards higher level. Why are we asking this question? Because there is the temptation that after you have spent so much time and energy and resources to get something done, to arrive at a point that somebody can just become comfortable, and then the person will relax and just stay there, and then the person will not give room for growth, for increase, and for expansion. Now, there is a scripture that is very, very important that has to do with understanding. And that is Job chapter 2, verse 8. Job chapter 2, verse 8. The Bible says, there is a spirit in man, looking at the King James Version, there is a spirit in man, the inspiration of the Lord giveth it understanding. There is a spirit in every single man. It is the inspiration of God that gives it understanding. Another version says that the spirit in man makes the man intelligent. So understanding has to do with intelligence. And so as we look at this operating at our level, all these points I've made, I want to bring it to an angle that I want us to look at this topic. Whatever is the level of insight or understanding that we get, there is something higher than that. There is a level higher than that. And when we talk of your level is about where you are per time. Now, for instance, there was a time that many of us we were in primary school, and we spent some years in primary school. At that point, that was our level. And at that point that we were in primary school, we were operating, we were doing things to the best of our knowledge, to the best of our understanding. But a time came, we got to a higher level, probably a secondary school. The level has changed, but at that material time, that was our level. And then a time came, we left secondary school. For some of us, we went to polytechnics. Some of us went to university. Some of us college of education or whatever, seminary or whatever. At that point, that was our level. And we now graduated, we put on the gown, we threw the hat and all of that. We got our certificate. At that point, there is the temptation for somebody to now feel, I am done with studies. And so there is no need, there is nothing more to study again. And then the temptation is to continue at that level, which is, of course, a very dangerous disposition of position to take. You will agree with me that man has not been able to harness the power and the ability that he possesses. As a matter of fact, some researchers say that even geniuses use only 5% of the capacity of their brain. So it means that even 95% is still highly underutilized. So for us to be able to operate, because we can only operate based on the knowledge that we have acquired, and our knowledge will determine the understanding that we have. Now, if we can get better knowledge, we can get better understanding. But if we get knowledge at a low level, we will operate on, our understanding will be low and we operate at a very low level. One of the things that amazes me, I remember Dr. Anita Defoe said she was going through a training, and somebody will be asking that what kind of training can you be going through at this age? And I remember Bishop Steele and Dr. Donald Ewers were also in another training. And then somebody will be asking that at their age, what are they looking for? Because based on the knowledge you get, you have better understanding. And the level you operate from at that level cannot be the same with somebody who has not attended the training that you have gone through. So somebody can sit back and think he knows it all, that nobody can teach him, nobody needs to teach him. I can get all my teachings from the internet, I can get this from books and all of that. Without attending some kind of training, what happens? The person will operate at low level, and it is still that person's level. There are lots and lots and lots of thoughts, insights that can give us understanding that are hidden in a master class. And if we don't attend that master class, we can never get that knowledge. And once we don't get that knowledge, we can never get understanding at that level. But the moment we attend that master class, what happens? We step up to a different level. If 5 of us attend that master class, we are no longer at the level we used to be. We have stepped up. That new level we have now attained is now our your level, if we get what I mean. There are trainings that if we can attend them, if only we can attend those trainings, we will acquire knowledge that will open our understanding, and then our level will be raised. And once our level is raised, when we are speaking, people will be wondering, where did this man get this understanding from? There are workshops that will boost our knowledge base, that will now boost our understanding level, and then we will step up. Like for instance, in my profession, a greater percentage of what will make you an architect is hidden in the professional exam. That you have master's degree does not make you a master in architecture without going through the professional exam. Now, when you go through the professional exam, your understanding level will just skyrocket. And then when you are now talking as an architect, people will be wondering, where did you get this knowledge from? It's just hidden in that professional exam. That's why there is room for us to write professional exams. So what is the counsel? The counsel is keep learning. Because if you stop learning, your knowledge base will plateau. And once your knowledge base plateaus, your understanding also plateaus. But you cannot imagine the amount of information that is being processed and released per hour on a daily basis. So if we want to make a difference, then we need to improve on ourselves. The ability to know what to do, how to do it, and to be able to make the difference in our world today is hidden in another that we need to connect with and then get that connection properly done, so that once we get that connection and we acquire the knowledge from that point, what happens to us? Our understanding is better than it used to be. You will agree with me that since we joined the class of SteelE, our understanding level has not been the same. We have been impacted tremendously. Many of us, there are things that you share with people and they wonder, where did you get this from? Class of SteelE gives us the opportunity for us to operate at a level that is beyond the ordinary. And like I've been saying, once that knowledge base is added to you, that becomes your new level. And you will agree with me that the operations, the way you do things, because operation just means how you do things, will be different. There are many of us that even the way we relate with people, either business partners, church members, our church leaders, people that are working with us, is different from 6 months ago. What happened? Our knowledge base has been improved. We have better understanding on how to do things, and that has changed our operations. And as it has changed our operations, what happened? As you begin to do things differently, people begin to notice it. And people begin to be more endeared to you because they know that this is somebody to follow. So what point am I trying to make with this? When your understanding improves, people will want to copy you. People will want to be like you, particularly when you do things that is beyond what other people are doing. Because everybody likes the original. Nobody wants to do or copy or work or follow somebody who is doing what every other person is doing. And as we improve in all our operations, what happens? Our level changes. The way we do business, for those of us that are in business, the way we do ministry, for those of us that are in ministry, the way we relate with clients, for those of us that are consultants, it is all based on our level of understanding. I remember when I was to meet a client, because I want to tie it with that scripture I read now, that talks about there is a spirit in man, the inspiration of the Almighty gives him understanding. Because you can't relate with every client the same way. When I was to meet that client, the client told me that somebody had already done a design for him. And so he wants to just see what I have to offer, but I will look at that design and then meet with that person that did the design. And then because he likes that man's design, and then we will merge our designs together and give him one design. I said, no problem. So when I got home and I was waiting and I was praying, I got an inspiration from the Holy Spirit and said, this is the way you should approach the project. Do the design this way, do the design this way, and come out with this. So I now came out with the design and I met with the client. As soon as he saw what I came up with, the man told me that, what is the time? I told him that it's so time. He said he wants me to go and start the work now. I said, but what about the other design that the other person did? He said, that's rubbish. That's rubbish. I can't work with that. You know, he just condemned that other work. Now, for every client that I meet with, I get an inspiration because there is a way to approach everybody. And this is where the God factor comes in our understanding. I mean, in our operating at our level. You know, that's one gracious thing God has done. God will give you the light. He will give you the understanding. He will give you the insight. He will give you the revelation. And what will he do? He will now hand it over to you and allow you to own it. That's what God does. But he allows you to own it with a sense of responsibility. That's why there is responsibility in what we were talking about. Because at every point in time, we must always acknowledge that God is the source and he is the one that opens our understanding, that will operate at a level that is beyond the ordinary. Why do we need that? Because in this world, people are very sharp, people are very intelligent, a lot of people work very hard. And so if you are going to compete with the people you are meeting out there at the level you're operating without the God factor, we are going to run into murky waters. And that is why we need God through his Spirit to be able to help us so that we can be able to operate at a level that God has in mind. Finally, this word says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Now, if I can do all things means all things. What you want to achieve, because out there are many preachers. For those of us that are in ministry, out there are many evangelists, many prophets, many pastors, many teachers of the word. There are people that have NGOs, people that are running a support group and all of that. You cannot afford to operate at normal level. Whatever you meet out there, no matter how intimidating they are, if you can believe in the ability of God in you, that he can shed light on every dark areas of your life, he can open your understanding to insights that nobody has ever seen before. If you can rely on that, if you can connect with that, whoever is out there, you can surpass them. One of the things I do is that I always say that I will be number one in my field. Now, I don't need the people that have gone ahead to fail or to fall so that I can move ahead of them. No, they continue to move. I have this understanding in me that if somebody is going and driving a Ferrari and wants to get to move from London to France on a Ferrari, he can go. I will just get to the airport and fly. I will still arrive France faster than him. Are we together? That is understanding. And that is the understanding I operate from. I don't need somebody to slow down to have a bad, to have a flat tire or something. Let him keep moving. I can always overtake. That's what I believe. So all this will now help in our operations, in what we do, how we go about them, when we have a proper understanding that comes from the ability that God gives to each and every one of us. For every single one of us, God is available to help us. God is available to give us strength, to give us insight, to give us understanding, to give us knowledge, so that our understanding level will always be up there. 9 and 10 on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest point. God can always take us to that point of 9 and 10. And when we are operating at the level of 9 and 10 at every given point in time in our life, there is no way that we won't be at the front. we won't be a pace setter, a trailblazer, somebody who is at the cutting edge of what is happening in our world today. Everybody is looking for a leader. Everybody is looking for somebody who will lead. Not everybody wants to be a laughing stock. So they always want the first person that will step out. Based on our understanding level, can we be the people that will be the trailblazer? Can we be the people that will be the pace setter? Can we be the people that will be at the forefront, to be the people at the cutting edge, ensuring that anything we do is the best? We do things with excellence, we do things with integrity, making sure that we are always relevant in every government, in every situation, everywhere we find ourselves will be the reference point. All this can only be possible if we operate at the level of understanding that God gives to us. My name is Architect Olukoya Olusegun, and I would like to stop here. Thank you very much for listening, and God bless us all. Sure, okay.
Can we give Architect Olusegun Olukoya a wave, a wave? That's a good job. So once again, thank you, Your Excellency, Architect Olusegun Olukoya, for that great teaching. He has reminded us on understanding. Understanding had to do with comprehension. It has to do with grasping, mastery, be an expertise, and also perception. We're grateful for the teaching. You all agree with me that he has done justice to this topic. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, Architect Olukoya. Without wasting much time, we're going to go to the next speaker. Tonight, we also have a renowned resource person in the person of the learned man in our midst, His Excellency, Barrister Nweche Anthony. And tonight he's going to talk to us on operating on the level of enlightenment. So over to you, Barrister, you are welcome. Can you please unmute yourself?
Good evening, everybody in the class of SteelE.
Yeah.
I thank God for everyone, and I'm glad the message of tonight has actually added value to us. Praise God. And I really enjoyed the message because I, for instance, know that the Bible talks about he that wandereth away from the ways of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. So understanding is a basic foundation because, you build upon understanding. But I want to humbly submit tonight that my talk is on Monday, not for today. Yes, I'm slated to speak on Monday. Today is stricto sensu architect, and he did a great job letting us know that what do they call it, has to do operating in the level of understanding. The Bible, for instance, equally tells us, in Psalm 20, Proverbs 24, verse 3, it talks about that with wisdom a house is built, and through understanding it is established. So Aaron has also opened to let me know that there is the one I will talk on Monday. So God bless you, Your Excellency, And you wait for me on Monday by the grace of God. God bless you all.
Your Excellency, Barrister Anthony Uetia, for that comments. And we're eager to hear you on Monday. Well, without wasting much time, I want to call on our able COO in the person of Her Excellency Doreen, to cap it up for us tonight. Your Excellency Doreen, Ambassador Doreen, please, can you come over and cap the whole thing up? Thank you.
All right, I'm going to, I have to jump in, allow me to jump in, Your Excellency, because Doreen is not online. Doreen has run out of electricity in her area. So she has gone offline, and she sent a message to me that she is not able to maintain tonight. So what I will do is I will bring some comments. And first thing I want to acknowledge in an error, it is correct that His Excellency Barrister Anthony Uetia will be speaking on Monday. Monday is his turn, because on Monday I will be in the air on the way to Dubai at that time, so unable to take class. So on Monday will be His Excellency Anthony Uetia. And I want for Monday, Your Excellency Samuel also, if you are available on Monday, I would like you to host the meeting on Monday. Are you available, Your Excellency Samuel also? Are you available on Monday?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so the gentleman will host on Monday while we are traveling. Now I want to lend my voice to this evening's class. I said I was going to watch from YouTube behind the scenes, and then I said, what manner of man would you be that when you are speaking, others are there present, and it would look bad for me to be not present, because I was spellbound. I didn't want to miss what you're sharing, Olukoya. So I was here, very attentive, and actually taking notes as well. And I want to commend you on a very, very good presentation. I think it deserves a second acknowledgement. Well done. You did very well. However, I'm going to do a little bit of critique, because it is my duty to do some critique and observations. And one of the observations that I've made is you prepared well. You did well in your preparing. I observed your preparation. I also observed that you stick to the subject, and that is noteworthy. A lot of times we get subject matters to speak on, and our message does not tie into the subject matter. You continually repeated the subject matter that was being addressed, and that is also noteworthy. Well done on that as well. I also acknowledge that you did the most important thing at the first time, is that you acknowledge the person who gave way to you. And that is also important. When you're given an opportunity, always remember to highlight that person, and you did well on that as well, Your Excellency. You did very well on acknowledging. I also acknowledge that you took the time in your presentation to identify those who are present, those who you can see, and you acknowledge individuals. Again, that is also noteworthy. As a diplomat or as an ambassador, you want to be in an environment where One, you're aware of where you're going. If you're going to a meeting, you're aware of who's present in the meeting. That's very important. Who else is there? And you acknowledge them, but you also who allowed you to be there. So well done. Those are points that I mark very high on, because a lot of times individuals, when they get an opportunity to speak, they neglect all of those dynamics that might seem not necessary. How many of you get what I'm saying? Barrister might have remembered that I've shared in his church, but I always bring greetings from my bishop back in Barbados and my home church. Because wherever you go, you're always standing on the shoulders of the authority that has caused you to be the person that you are. Most people forget that. And most people behave as though if they acknowledge the person who got them there, that they are belittling themselves. But I want to suggest to us in the class of SteelE that when you acknowledge those who have given you an opportunity, you are actually putting yourself way up there. Because what that does is it shows that you have honor and respect for those that give you the opportunity to be where you are. There's a gentleman that is in the class tonight, and he's always here with me. There are two gentlemen, as a matter of fact, and one is the elder Buddy Larrier. How many of you know that I've told you, those who are in the class, that he's one of my mentors? He's one of the persons that pertaining to what I've done and in human rights and the knowledge of Pan-Africanism, he's one of the person that is one of my leaders. And you can't forget those who instructed you. Are you with me? But the interesting thing is that we're talking about a long relationship that is over 10, 15 years. Yet he's still here today in the class of SteelE. Are you with me? He's in the class of SteelE today. I also acknowledge Stanley Thomas, who is here in London with me. And it is because of Stanley that I was able to engage a lot of things that I've done in Greenwich, in London. And he's still here. Because when you show that respect and honor, individuals stay with you. So Olukoya, well done. A very good presentation. I also acknowledge that you focused on time. I was very mindful that you did not push and go over time. And you made a point of determining, I will stop here. And I like that comment, I will stop here, because what it means is that there's a whole lot more that you can give. There's a whole lot more that you can add to the message. But how many of you have ever heard the statement, quit while you're ahead? Don't bleed it out like I do sometimes, and then people falling asleep and it's, oh, the bishop has gone on and on and on. I see Barrister smiling, oh, but Bishop, I know what you're saying. You go on and on and on. But it's important that you know when to quit. Now, Olukoya, I'm going to give all of you in the class of SteelE, including yourself, a point. Olukoya, you did not make me laugh. You did not make me smile. And I'll share this with you. I'm going to share this with you. Anytime you're sharing a presentation, I was always taught, find a joke or two that are appropriate to your presentation. Are you with me? Barrister, talk to me. Barrister, tell me what you think on that note, Barrister. What do you think on that note? You're unmuted. You're already unmuted, Barrister.
My mentor is always right. My mentor is always right. I've always looked up to you. Most things, if not all the things you say, accurate to a man with deep understanding, and you can't handle a class like this if you do not have what it takes. And you perfectly, you're on point. You're on point because, we can't actually be perfect, so we keep learning on a daily basis, because what we keep doing, we keep becoming. So I share that with you as well. Like you usually do, you know, architect was lovely. I've always, when he preaches, he talks like an old man, deep, wide age, wiser than his age, and very humble at the same time. I love that. Love him, you know, and it took time and pieces that deciphered that topic, you know. So in that area, like you I also wanted to have laughed the way I usually laugh when you're handling it. But you know, everybody have their own style. Actually,
Yes.
makes us laugh. He has what it takes to make us laugh. I think I missed that point from him. But if I were to score him, I would score him probably 99 and a half over 100. You know, he was superb. He was great. And that is the truth. God bless you, sir.
Thank you so very much, Your Excellency, Barrister. Um, so Your Excellency, Samuel, so Golden Eagle, what is your take on his presentation? What is your take? I want you see, as a class, because guess what? Your turn is coming. I'm going to put, all of you are going to get your turn to be in the hot seat. And I really want to get the feedback from you. You compliment and encourage each other, because that's what we're all about. What is your take on his presentation, Golden Eagle?
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. My take on his presentation, I think just like Dr. His Excellency Dr. Wicha said, the presentation was great, and he, 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 he arranged. I mean, the message came sequentially. Um, he is articulate in his presentation. He is able to present it, trying to create. But one of the things I enjoy is that he makes sure he create a picture of understanding in my mind.
Yes.
And so that is, I have a picture. I not just understanding as per dictionary meaning, but he has painted a picture of understanding in my mind. And I think I can write a whole lot of AC on understanding, depending on what I mean. Depending, I mean, according to what he has presented to us tonight. Dr. Architect Olukoya, you did a wonderful work. I know that there is always room for improvement. It's evidence that he is himself. I think that is another
Yes.
thing. He is himself. He's not. He didn't try to be like any other person. He was himself. He didn't. I mean, he has no plan. He didn't plan to be like our mentor, neither myself or Dr. Wechia or Pastor Victoria or any of us. He just wanted. He presented it just the way he feel like presenting it. I think that is another way as I think I can score him high. And then he he knows his audience. He knows his
Yes.
audience. Yeah, he knows his audience. He knows he's not talking to boys. He's not talking to girls. He's talking to men. He's talking to intellectuals. He's talking to people, men of, let me use the word timber and caliber. He knows he's talking to he's talking to excellencies. So he actually addressed the message to us, and then we got the message right. And then finally, uh, he he did well in the area of entrance. I mean, when he came from the beginning, his entrance was wonderful,
Yes.
and then he entered so well, and I think that is where he caught my attention.
Yes.
Because one of the things as when you're talking, you don't have a good entrance, because your entrance is a hook that, and it's a bait you put in your hook so that you can get your audience. He did well. He entered well, and we got our attention, and we were keenly listening to him as if he shouldn't stop. So thank you, your Excellency, Architect Olukoya. I know that something great is happening already in the class of C. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, Majesty, for giving us this opportunity to treat our talent and our giftings. I tell you that we will make you proud. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Your Excellency. Thank you for your submission. I want to ask, I see his wife there, Adiola. First Lady Olukoya, unmute yourself, please. I saw her jumping. She jumped in there. I heard her say, he's funny sometimes, you know. He can be he actually has a sense of humor when talking. Adiola, I just want you to kind of give your comment on his presentation this evening. First Lady Olukoya, what is your comment on his presentation this evening? The wife's opinion. Is she with us, Olukoya? Adiola, are you with us?
Yes, sir.
Good evening, sir. I'm actually having a challenge with my system. I don't know what came up now.
Well, come next to your husband.
Okay, so I'm
and
using
come next to your husband. Come next
well,
to
thank
me.
you very much, sir, for the privilege to say something about him. Actually, he has sense of humor.
Okay. Unmute yourself, Olukoya. Olukoya, unmute yourself again. I muted you because of the feedback. Okay, go again, Adiola. Go ahead again.
Okay. As I was saying, sir, I said he actually has sense of humor. I'm the only one in the family who doesn't, crack jokes, or who doesn't laugh when others are cracking jokes. So they always laugh with me. So, but I notice anytime he preaches, anytime he talks, he actually carry people's along. But I'm surprised today what actually happened. Why he didn't say, but he told me he was conscious of time, and well, so many other things, Sha, but I really want to appreciate. I told him, I said he actually helped me to understand so many things as he was talking, opening my eyes of understanding to what understanding means. And I just remember this scripture that says, Isaiah chapter 11, the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon me, spirit of wisdom, spirit of might, and spirit of understanding. And I've made up my mind, and I think it's going to be my prayer point throughout this week for myself, for the children, and for others, that God should help us to increase our level of understanding, because it's very important, and very important for everybody. Whatever we're going to do, whatever God has committed into our hands, we just need that. We can't just afford to operate at low level of understanding. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it.
Come on, let's celebrate First Lady Olukoya. Thank you so very much. Well said and well representing Olukoya. Well done. One of the things that jumped out in your message, Olukoya, and I wrote it down. I took a note. The God factor. That jumped out at me, because I remember in the class I spoke about the God factor. In the factory, there's a factor in the factory, and the God factor. And I was really buzzing when I heard you mention that, because a lot of times the level of our understanding is equally based as well on the level of depth of relationship or intimacy we have with the Lord. And sometimes the Bible equally says it, that you have no need that men may teach you. There's a level of understanding that comes where we even bamboozle ourselves. Come on, somebody. When we finish our teaching, we go, wow, did I say that? Where did that come from? And it is because the Holy Spirit in us, I think sometimes the Holy Spirit gets excited when he sees us going down a path, and he says, ooh, let me add a few revelations to that message for them. And if you're intimate with him, you will hear him dropping a little thing in your spirit. And then he said, yeah. How many of you hear those ministers go? And you go in and then you hear them say, you're preaching your message, and all of a sudden you go, That's because something sweet just dropped in your spirit. And you walk away, no. You just walk away and he says, come on. But all the time you're doing these shenanigans, you're, no. You're listening, you're hearing, you're downloading. Oh, bless the Lord. Olukoya, you've excited me. You've excited me and the class this evening. You did us proud. I am not disappointed at all. I am not. And I want to encourage you. And if I must give you some points, I want you to get more comfortable. I know your wife is saying she doesn't know why you didn't crack much jokes. I'll tell you why. I will tell you why you didn't crack much jokes. You didn't crack much jokes because there's so much pressure where you're speaking that your mind does not focus on comedy. To be able to focus on comedy plus the message that you're presenting, it can be challenging. It takes time and technique so that you build the two together, and it happens with confidence. As you become more confident, you become more mindful of a joke that ties into your subject. But I want you to practice a joke in your subject. Practice it. I want you to present all of your messages with a funny point. You have to have it, and it's kind of what I would say is kind of bringing people closer to you. It's kind of bringing people to a human side of you. You see, your message is a serious message. Your presentation and your submission is serious. But you still want to have that human side that in the midst of your delivery of 45 minutes or 30 minutes, you can share a light moment. Are you with me? You could share a light moment. Always remember that. Equally, I'm going to give you some more points. I want you in your presentations the next time, I want you also to look at your audience. Find out what's happening to Barrister, and while you're talking in your message, say, oh, Barrister, I just want to acknowledge and I wish your daughter a wonderful day today. May your daughter have a good day, We've been praying for your family, Barrister, and God's blessings on you. Know something about someone in your audience so that you bring an intimacy to you and your audience. You keep your audience with you. Are you with me, Olukoya? Speak to your audience, talk to them, refer to them, because all of those little techniques or attributes cause your audience to want to sit in your presence. Like I'm always speaking with Vanessa because I know Vanessa is so busy. And Vanessa, I don't want Vanessa to leave me, so I always refer, Vanessa, come on, say good evening, Vanessa. Come on, Vanessa, say good evening.
Hello, my good people. Hey, Dr. Steele. God bless you all. And what was his name? Olukoya that brought forth the word?
Yes, it's Olukoya.
Olukoya, you did an awesome job, man of God. The wisdom of God was expounded through you. So God bless you in your ministry. Yes, Dr. Steele, you always picking on me, but it's okay.
Hey, not only do I pick on you, but I also listen to you on Facebook, like we were doing last night, me and the First Lady. Come on now, that's what I'm talking about. We up in your business.
Whoop, whoop.
So I want you, all of you, take notes. This is not just a Olukoya, but because we are on a virtual platform, okay? Virtual platforms can become very impersonal, where you just say, get information and go. But in the class of SteelE, you recognize that I want us to become a community, a family, focus that when you're speaking, everybody is aware that you're speaking with them in mind. Your Excellency Stanley, I see Stanley. Stanley, can you say good evening? Because it seems that your mic is working tonight. Are you going to say good evening to us, Stanley? Just unmute yourself, if you may. Stanley Thomas.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. I was waiting for the time that I could hear you. Yes, we can hear you, Stanley.
I cannot see anybody. All I can see is the sign on my phone, because I'm on the phone. I'm not on a computer.
All right, but are you enjoying the class so far this evening?
Yes, I mean, I only joined it, what, 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, because I just got in from work. So I rushed in and I signed in. I actually turned up when someone was actually talking while I was trying to work out how this all works and get me online. But good evening to everyone.
Good evening, Sally. Good evening. Everybody's hearing you clearly.
My respect goes out to everybody who's in the class of SteelE. And I thank you very much for mentioning me earlier.
You're welcome.
It goes hand in hand with what you were saying and making people inclusive when they're actually talking, because by you mentioning my name made me make the effort to stay with you. Even though I thought to myself, well, I'm late, I'm only getting part of what is happening. But because you mentioned my name, Stanley Thomas, earlier, it kind of encouraged me to stay on. You hearing me?
I'm hearing you very well. Stanley, you've known me for a while, and this is the class where I'm the mentor. Stanley, give the class a little bit of background of what you think of me, and you know, it's impromptu. We didn't plan it. So what do you think of me? And since you've known me, how do you see me as a person? Tell the class.
How do I see you? I don't really think much of you, Michael. Michael, I've known Michael for how long has it been? Gosh, must be a good 20 odd years. Oh gosh, that's too long. That's too long to know you, Michael. But yes, I've known Michael for many years. Michael came to Greenwich, where I was working for local government, and I was principal manager in local government. I was managing a disability resource center and outreach team. So I had about, 30 staff. And one day this man turned up, and Michael and I got on very well. But what we were focusing on was setting up a group called BEMAD, which is Black and Ethnic Minority Association for the Disabled People. And we felt that disabled people, Black disabled people, weren't actually represented. And so one of the things that Michael did, which was, I'll never forget it, a chap who was deaf got sacked from a company called Argos. You remember that, Michael?
I remember.
And Andre came to us and said he needed help because he was now sacked. He didn't know what he was going to do with himself. And Michael said, well, let's appeal. So we all agreed that we would appeal against his sacking. And after we discussed it all and we read up on the new Disability Act, which came into force, I think it was around 2002, we decided that we needed someone to go down and represent this young man at his place of work. And Michael said, I'll do it. And I said, well, that's good, Michael. So we briefed Michael, And we weren't too sure what was going to happen, because now Michael was going to be going down into this place, right, where there would be a panel of people who would be listening to Andre's story and listening to the other person's story. Now, to make it very clear on how hard it was going to be to reinstate Andre actually struck someone. And in, I think, all workplaces, if you strike someone, that's gross misconduct. And gross misconduct means instant dismissal. However, Michael went down there, argued the point that Andre could not hear what was happening when he was instructed by someone, and thus became frustrated. And the company hadn't actually put anything in place because Andre was deaf. And Michael came back and said he won the case and he got Andre back his job. And to this day, Andre is still with Argos.
Yes.
All because of Michael.
Yes, he's still with Argos all these years, and I go and I see him every now and then. Still.
Oh, it's a blessing. It is a blessing, and if it wasn't for you, he wouldn't be there. And that is a micro situation. You know, it's just one person, but for that one person, it's a lifetime, and it's about him, his family, and his future. Because we don't know what would have happened if Andre hadn't have got his job back. So that was one of the things that we had we got involved in, but we got involved with many things to the point whereby I nominated Michael through an organization to actually go and get some police training at Hendon. The officer, the borough commander, was actually looking for somebody who would be able to come from Greenwich as a black person, and a black person who knew about disability as well. So one of his nominations came from our department, which was the disabled section, which I think Michael did go and he did complete the training. So Michael's a very, very informative, very special person. And that's before he went and did all his studying and got his doctorate. You know, this was him as a young man just wanting to actually do good. So yeah, that is why I'm here now. You know, I'll always rush home and try and get on here just to be with him and be around him. And a lot of things have happened recently in which Michael has been part of. So it's always a pleasure to know Michael. And I'm here to help him always, just like he's there to help me. Is that enough, Michael, or you want more?
No, you've done well. Come on, let's celebrate Stanley. Come on. He might say
Stanley,
that
indeed.
I'm the great person, but you know what? The great person is the one that puts you in the position for greatness. Always remember that. The great person is the one that puts you in position for greatness. And Stanley, I want to, here in class, I want to publicly thank you for being confident in me as well as a young man and giving me an opportunity, because you equally caused me to become one of the directors for the Willett Simba project. And you've also given me so many opportunities to open a lot of doors in Greenwich. So thank you so very much for that, Stanley. I say that publicly. I appreciate you very much. And I look forward to meeting you and Abdi. Abdi's in a wheelchair. We're going to bring Abdi to the class of SteelE because he's already said yes, he will come. He's in a wheelchair and he's going to tell you his story himself. We will bring Abdi to the class of SteelE so you hear him. And Stanley, you should also say that we also opened a sign language class inside of the resource center as well, because of persons who were mute and couldn't speak. So we did a lot of great things to help others. So it's not just about us who are able, but it's those who are differently able that we give love and care for in our communities. So thank you so very much for that submission, Stanley. You are appreciated, definitely. I want to ask Buddy Larry. Buddy comes quietly. Elder Buddy Larry, would you unmute yourself, please? Elder Buddy Larry, would you unmute yourself, please? Elder Buddy Larry, are you there to unmute? Can you unmute? Well done. Good evening, Elder Buddy Larry. Good evening. We're not hearing. I can't hear you. He's an elder. I hope you can see he's an elder. Okay, go ahead. I think I can hear you. I think I will hear something when you speak. Go ahead.
You can hear me now?
Hey, come on, somebody. We can hear you. We can hear you. Elder Buddy Larry and myself were responsible for turning Bridgetown in Barbados a city of peace. There are many cities of peace around the world, and we are responsible for making Bridgetown a city of peace because of our efforts together. Elder Buddy Larry, what do you think of this young man, Michael Steele? Because I'm wrapping up, preparing to go to Dubai, and I'm getting a bit of testimonies. What do you think about this young man after all these years?
I don't know very much about the young man, but I could speak about Michael Steele, who think he's a young man, right?
What did you mean you don't know much about the young man? I don't understand.
Because if people are congratulating you for all the years that they have known you, it means that you are not as young as you think you are. But I want to congratulate you as a youngster, to me as an elder. I remember one time we were at one of the offices of the ministries, and as I introduced you to the representative of the ministry, and started to make my presentation while introducing you. And you said you are the trainee of this elder who you intend to take over from. And I said to you, but hold on, I'm not going anywhere yet, so you're not taking over from me. But as I watch you mature into a very dynamic speaker, and you have attracted the attention of some very eminent persons, I want to congratulate you for that. I also congratulate you for holding the family together. I know you have spoken many times about the challenges you had with relationships. I leave it at that because I think you have shared with the class of SteelE already your history in that domain. But I want to congratulate you for not only making a success of your marriage, but having your queen be part of it. So she's not just sitting in the back, but she is recognized by all the people that share your philosophy in presenting the class of SteelE as a very strong and dynamic person in her own right. So all these things, I really congratulate you. One of the things that because we talked about from the time I met you, you was bringing to Barbados a program from Nigeria about world peace. And that is what made us gel so nicely, because here you were bringing this program from Nigeria, and I was bringing a program from Barbados and the international community on the same subject. So, as you rightly said, when we identify and agree that Barbados and Bridgetown, the capital, should be a city of peace, as a forerunner for the Caribbean being a zone of peace, one city at a time. Because to say you're having a zone of peace and neither one of the cities in that zone is classified as a zone, as a city of peace, it does not make sense. And that means that the people, the young people in particular, will have to take the issue of peace seriously. Because if the city is the head and the head is about peace, all the rest of the body should follow as members of that peace initiative. So that is something I really want to thank you for working with me on that. Barbados has not yet formally, and this is the difference between the non-governmental sector and the political apparatus. Barbados has not formally recognized Bridgetown as a city of peace. But I can tell you why it has not. Because we had in Barbados, in the city of Bridgetown, a statue of white supremacy that was there for 207 years in the city. And therefore, a man who was about violence have been standing as a symbol of white supremacy in the city until that statue was removed, and removed appropriately. The spirit, and here we are talking about God's spirit moving across the earth, that God's spirit moving across the earth to bring racism or white supremacy to an end until that statue was removed. The symbol of white supremacy remained. It was removed, but again, the government of Barbados failed to take seriously the recommendation that you just don't move something that has been standing so long. You have to look at the history, why it was put there, what it has symbolized, and move it on an appropriate date. That was not done. And today we still have violence in the city. I think up to last couple of days ago, someone was killed again. And I'm saying the government now need to really formally proclaim Bridgetown a city of peace. And that is something, Michael, I think you, in your position now, can write a letter to the government, because power only concedes to a greater power. And you are I'm trying to find the proper word. You have influence among our people. Don't underestimate that. There's also another, and I will end on this, which we have been fighting for, because if you have us working for City of Peace, working for peace, peace comes with truth and justice and healing and reconciliation. All that is wrapped up into what you and I and others have been working towards. And the way that you are training your, uh, I don't like to the word training, the way you are sharing your experience and your knowledge and your skills with other people, especially of African ancestry, across Africa and the diaspora, I think the time has come for you all as leaders in your own right to do something that is necessary. And this is what I will recommend that you do. If all your training and all those people who are really thanking you, Michael, for your great work. You said you wanted to continue the work that I have started and that you have joined in the process because you brought your own perspective to the endeavor. What I would recommend that you do, there is a project that I have been lobbying for before I met you. And you heard of my work from one of your mentors, Mavis Clark. You heard of my work because she was one of 5 persons, including myself, that was doing some specialist training in England. And I found out in 1989 that there was a plan to depopulate the world by billions of people. And we as African people who live in places such as Africa, West Papua, Brazil, that is blessed by God with much resources. And the kind of resources that the world now needs to continue its development. The world cannot develop much further without the resources that the African people of the world have in their own domain. And I'm sure you all are aware of this. We are the foundation of humanity. And one of the things I would like you to, and your colleagues to do, is that as we challenge what is now sweeping the world, the COVID pandemic, which, as I said, in 1989, I found out about this depopulation program. And in 1990, I wrote to 178 world leaders and then published a small booklet targeting the people of the world. You are familiar with this work, Michael, and you encouraged me in what I was doing. So I'm not speaking to you particularly. I want the people on the class of SteelE to understand the importance that you have played and are playing in helping them to reach to another level of making their presentations. And each one of them are from a country, and what is needed now is a resolution must be tabled to the United Nations by any country that is led by an African person. That October the 12th should be designated as the International Day for Reparations for truth, justice, peace, healing, and reconciliation. And I'm going to remind you, Michael, by sending you the recommendation, the draft proposal, the draft proposal that was sent or put to the United Nations in 2001 at the First World Conference of the 21st Century, the conference where for the first time in our history that it was said that the transatlantic slave trade or trade in African, because it was a trade. They were buying and selling of stock, and we were the stock. The transatlantic trade in Africans, chattel enslavement, and colonialism, which each one of your members on this team have experienced the effect negatively of colonialism. So these three things, the Atlantic trade, chattel enslavement, and colonialism, were declared crimes against humanity. And that process of crimes against humanity started from the 1490s when Christopher Columbus landed in the Caribbean or the Americas on the 12th of October. And the 12th of October was glorified by the white supremacists as Discovery Day and Columbus Day. Now that has to be reversed. And the day should the truth would come out of what happened on the 12th of October, when the African people that received him celebrated and thanked God for sparing his life and helped him for 3 months before he was sent back or before he returned to Spain. So you see, the truth have to be told. And your class of SteelE and the training you're providing, Michael, can play a very important role in that. Now, my last presentation in a series that I was having on over the last 5 weeks is mental health, racism, classism, and sexism, the 4 main areas that control all the discussion we have in the world today is affected by these 4 topics. Mental health. At the moment now, right around the world, people are going crazy. Not mentally ill, but they're going crazy because the minds are being transformed. And by so doing, the world is being transformed. All of us know that. Then racism. Racism is the foundation, or whiteness is the foundation of the system that has been put in place since the 1490s after Columbus came here. Classism is something that you, Michael, know and understand, that here in Barbados and in more countries, if you went to a particular school, you're considered better than someone who didn't went to a particular school. I heard the person was speaking about people that disability, and the person that made such a give such a marvelous testimony to you of how you managed to uh, help that person that was suffering from a disability in speech and hearing. So you see, it's all linked and it's coming back. So classism, that is where it is. And finally, sexism. We need to understand why there was a development of a man's world. And as a result of that, the female have been treated with disdain. We need to understand that has to come to an end. And that is why, and I'm sure and I made reference to your queen and all the female participants of how you honor them and how you try to big them up so that they do not feel any less a person because they are female. So what I'm saying to you, and I end with this, is that I am here working diligently on trying to get one country led by a African person to put or table a resolution to the United Nations. In 2013, the World Social Forum made a proclamation for the 12th of October to be the International Day for Reparations. And I am yet to hear one black country or black-led country come out and support that proclamation. And yet the world is talking about reparation because of what has happened to us over the last 500 plus years. So there's work to be done. And if that was done, if the 12th of October was proclaimed, it would expose what the evil forces of this world are doing, because it was given a lifeline after the 12th of October 1492 when Christopher Columbus landed here. Prior to that, black people were ruling Spain for over 800 years. And after the 1492, we fell from grace. So now we are back to where we are reaching out to be put back to where we were before we fell from grace. Religious leaders have a role to play. Know your history, learn your history. And you know, Michael, I end with this. The little country that we live in, that I live in, you live in a big country now. But my little country was called Little England. It is the first country in the world that passed a resolution or an act of parliament to legally promote the ideology of black inferiority. It is called the Barbados Slave Code of 1661. The Barbados Slave Code of 1661. We do not know if it has yet been repealed. I am lobbying the government to ask that that be made known to the people of Barbados, that it has been repealed, and if it has not been repealed, to repeal it so the people of Barbados understand we are no longer, as some people say, under the curse of inferiority. It's not a curse, it's actual policies that was put in place by other people. And they try to put that into religious texts. But these are practical things that has happened. You've been doing a lot of research. You've been teaching your students or your participants who very much respect you. And I'm saying to you that the time has come for those students to now be, after they leave the class of SteelE, as you're trying to encourage them, to go out and spread the gospel of the liberation of our people. The time is right. So I just thank you for the opportunity to share with you. I hope I didn't go on too long, but as I said, Michael, you have inspired me greatly. I am if I couldn't be more proud of you, even if you were my son. So thank you very much, and I ask the people on the class of steel to continue to respect you and look to you because you have a lot more to give. You have a lot more to give, a lot more work to do. So thank you very much, and God bless all of you.
Thank you so very much, buddy. Come on, let's just say thanks. Let's just say thanks. As I listen, I want to declare class of steel is over. Class is over, but I want to humbly appreciate Buddy for pouring his heart out. It is recorded. It's on YouTube. Buddy, you can have the link. And equally, what I want to say is that we will be doing a lot of stuff together in the coming weeks and months. And Ghana already has something that we are working on for next year. And I guarantee you that the class of steel will be coming to Barbados. I'll make sure that we make a plan to bring the class of steel to Barbados. We're going to Dubai, and after Dubai, we have other plans in place. So Barbados is on the radar. But thank you so very much for your contribution, your support. And we're going to do great things continually because the legacy goes on. And for all of you in the class of steel, thank you for your patience. I observed that you listened, and I observed that you never know what bit of knowledge you are going to receive. I'm proud of you, Barrister, because I will tell you, Your Excellency Anthony Ueshiya, you have just heard from one of the most versed persons on African history in the whole of the Caribbean. One of the most versed minds that knows the dates, the times, the sequence, the archives. Barbados has renowned Badilaria for many years because of his wisdom, and he has been in government in Barbados. He's well respected equally for his knowledge. And I want to assure you that the knowledge that you would receive legally from him, the archives will not give to you. Because if they give it to you, you would be too powerful and you would cause a lot of problems. So with that being said, thank you so very much for being in the class of steel this evening. I take the challenge, buddy. Don't worry. I'm working diligently and quietly and confidently. I take the challenge. And one thing that I learned, Rome wasn't built in a day, Barrister. The city, the streets of Rome are still standing strong, but there are streets that were and highways that were recently built that they're scattered. Why? Because the streets of Rome were built one brick at a time on a good foundation. And when you put down foundation one brick at a time, it lasts a little bit longer than if you try to build too much too quickly. So with that being said, I'm your mentor, Dr. Michael Steele. I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you so very much for Stanley being here this evening, Buddy Laria, Barrister, Minister Ewers, all of you who stood this class this evening. I appreciate you. And we're looking forward to being in Dubai. The next time you hear from me, I will be on the land of Dubai, and we will be having a wonderful time together. Barrister, I hope you do us proud on Monday. I will not be here, but I hope on Monday you do us proud, Barrister. As a matter of fact, I'm going to make sure that Jeannie, that she does the recording, because I want you to do us proud, Barrister. Do me proud.
Thank you, sir. It's an honor that you are giving me this platform, and I'm truly appreciative of that. And I pray that the Lord would help me to measure up like architect Olukoya did today. We are truly proud of you. God bless you, sir.
God bless you. Please give First Lady our love for sure.
Thank you so much. And smooth flight to Dubai. And we would have been there, but I'm sure the next trip, God helping us, will be there.
Definitely, definitely. I want to, Your Excellency Donald Ewers, I know you're gonna be on the, you will get to Dubai before me, Your Excellency Donald Ewers. So please make sure that the tarmac is dry for me when I land. I know you will get to Dubai before me, Your Excellency. So the next time I hear you equally, I know you're coming down to London, and we will meet up in Dubai.
Amen. So shall it be, sir.
So all is well with you, and you're all packed, all ready to go?
Everything is packed, everything is okay, sir. Already looking forward for the mission. And we want to go there to so we can come back and say mission accomplished. To God be the glory.
Definitely. We'll be calling you guys from Dubai. We'll have the class still in, while I'm in Dubai. Class doesn't stop because I travel. That's the beauty of technology. So everybody, thank you so very much. Adiola, Bella, thank you so very much for being here this evening. We appreciate you guys. Bishop Comfort, you and I have some unfinished business that we will tend to after class tonight. So we look forward to what the Lord is doing. So good night to everybody. Bishop Comfort, have a wonderful night, Your Excellency. And to those in Ghana, we just want to acknowledge those in Ghana. Let them know that you are preparing to be in Dubai with us to do some great things.
Yes, thank you, Your Excellency, and all the excellencies in the house. In actual fact, it has been very tiring and challenging. But hope is still in the Lord, and we know that by His grace we'll be there. And the Lord also will work mightily for those who will be there. So once again, I say, long live class of SteelE as well.
It is well, man.
I also thank God.
Go ahead, ma'am. Sorry for cutting. Go ahead. I apologize. You also thank God. Go ahead.
Yes, I also was so touched by the blessing of His Excellency, the architect. You know, I cannot call out most of the names well, but I believe he had the whole stuff he shared it today. We are very blessed. The class of SteelE is blessed. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're definitely welcome. But Ilaria, when we go to we're going to Ghana, buddy, and you have a place when we are honoring the kings of Africa, and that's the event that we will be hosting. The class of SteelE will be hosting the kings of Africa next year, and we're doing it from Ghana. And I don't want to allow you to start another deep conversation, but you are going to be part of the foundation of establishing the ethos for what we will be doing in Ghana. So I will leave that with you, Your Excellency, Bishop Comfort and Reverend Buddy Larry. Olukoya, look forward to seeing you in Dubai, buddy. You have a safe trip and all is well. Definitely, sir. I salute you. So everybody in the class of SteelE, Your Excellency Victoria, thank you so very much for looking after us this evening. As always, you look after us well in the class of SteelE. We love you, appreciate you. Good night and God bless everybody. Bye-bye for now.
God bless.
All right. Bye-bye for now. Good night.